Today's special episode of the discussion is my birthday. Woo! Yep, I'm 14 now. Only true fans would know that. But if you're not a true fan, then that's okay. I understand. But anyway, welcome to today's episode of discussion. Today's episode, the highlights of my life. Ready, set, begin. Okay, so I've been through a lot in my life, and as I gotten older, I became more serious. Obviously, if my family's watching this, Jason knows why, and some of my friends should also know this. But, even though when I was younger, I was less serious and more dorky and more funny. And more stupid. So, talk about one of those times. In 3rd grade, we basically had this Dr. Seuss Day thing where the principal had made certain classmates helpers to lead some parents and adults that wanted to volunteer to read for kids. So I was one of them. So after lunch, I would have to go to the library and then start helping. Pretty simple, right? Before this happened, I was in my math class and we were doing nothing in particular. Like, the teacher had music on and we were all just doing crossword puzzles. And this is the stupidest reason I got in trouble in my life so far. I can't really think of any other. But this one is honestly the stupidest. So, I was listening to this song. I can't remember by who, but it was some kind of girl song. But it was somewhat pop, I guess. So, we were singing it, and at this other table, some people were like, oh, N's, listening to this music. And it was only me and my friend. We'll call him Stefan. He should know who he is if he's watching this. Probably not. But I told Stefan, no we're not. Hey, how about we have a scribbling contest for who can scribble the paper the most. So we did so. Tell me why, only 5 seconds later, some kid just comes from that other table and is like, ooh, and then Stefan were doodling on the papers, and they took my paper, and then they just drag it to the teacher, and they're like, and then Stefan weren't doing the crossword puzzle, he was scribbling all over it. They're like, teacher was like, oh, well, you guys have to write an essay as to why your behavior is unacceptable. You can't do that. Now, I was like, but why? It's just a crossword puzzle. It's not part of our grade. It's part of Dr. Seuss Day. Like, why am I getting in trouble for scribbling? I get that it was wrong, but why? I still think about it today. It's like, god dang, that's stupid. I didn't end up turning it in from what I remember. And since it was lunchtime, my friend was kind of sad because he can't write reports. I remember he said that. But I honestly hated that day. But even then, it was pretty funny how it turned out. Here's another story from 4th grade. So, we had this thing called Bound City, where basically only above average students would get to go. But during that second to last week before it, we had a bunch of subs, and principals coming around to observe our school. Pretty simple, right? No. There was one kid in my math class, when we had a sub, we'll call him Justin. Everybody should know in real life who this person is. But Justin stood up in his seat, and most of us were telling him to sit down because that was unauthorized. And the teacher didn't even say anything. He was just like... So, we keep telling him off, and coincidence is that the principal comes in, and then she just scolds us and tells us, oh, you're not allowed to go to Bound City, okay? You're all gonna have to clean up during PE time instead of going. So we were all pretty sad, and I had my sketchbook with me, so I was pretty depressed as well. So I just wrote things that were kind of negative, not the best things, not particularly worst, but eh. So, and then I realized at lunch that it was actually the whole 4th, 5th, and 6th grade that were put under detention because Justin stood up in his seat. So, instead of our class, which I would have understood because it was my homeroom, but it wasn't my actual class, I got put under detention for that. So, we all got mad at him, and then we had to stand at PE just cleaning up all the cotton candy and pop balloons and such on the floor. I was pretty devastated, and then I went home, I told my sister, I was pretty sad, I was crying, but luckily my mom took me to Chuck E. Cheese's. This was in 4th grade, keep in mind, okay, this was in 2014, actually I think it was 2014, but I honestly look back to that day, I'm like, damn, that was actually the last time I had Bound City. Here's another story in 7th grade, because I'm skipping to not 5th and 6th because nothing really interesting happened those years. So in 7th grade, basically I was voted most artistic in the school. Yeah, that's a coincidence because I draw circle tables for like a living. Okay, so tell me why is that I was called up to like PE with a pink notice, and so did this other kid I did not like at the time. We'll call him Lulu. Everyone should also know who this is. A person that tried to compete with me in subscribers, but I ended up beating him only like half a month later. So, we called up and I was like, wait, what are we getting blamed for? So we went to this classroom that I wasn't gonna know until 8th grade. So, the teacher that called us in was part of the yearbook. So they took our pictures and they said one of you was voted most artistic and one of you got voted most fabulous. This is actually what I said. I said, I don't think Lewis is artistic, not what I know of, and I am not fashionable, so I guess I'm the one who has artistic. Yeah, that's actually what I said. Now you're probably thinking, wow, you're a douche. But you know what? I didn't think Lewis was artistic at all, and my fashion is not really good. I mean, it's not trashy, but I just toss on whatever looks good, or at least looks somewhat appropriate to the day. I mean, granted, everything I put on is appropriate, but you get the point. So, I took a picture, and then he took his, I don't know about the yearbook, I didn't see anybody for 2017, but, I guess I was voted out, but that made me question what drawing they saw. How did they know it was me? When did they find out? And how did they even know? Like, and what drawing did they actually see? Questions, but you know what? Whatever. And then we get to 8th grade. The greatest moment of my life in 8th grade is kind of tricky because there are a bunch of crazy things that happened. But I guess I have to say the best moment of my life was honestly going on the majors field trip, and along with that, graduating. Because I was so stoked. I was actually crying for once in my life for something happy, not just because I was breaking down inside. I really did graduate like a week ago, but I honestly just did awesome. And it was really worth it, worth my time. But let me just say is that, you know what, you follow your dreams and you work hard and you get somewhere. Sure, it won't be that close when you get to it, but you know what, life is worth it. Honestly, the majors field trip was also something that I was looking forward to because basically in my school you have ranks and you get merits to get up these ranks. So, that's why. But honestly, I did have fun this year. I really had fun every year. And now that it's my birthday, I get to remorse over what I've done over my life. And now that I'm gonna be a freshman, well, I have a whole future ahead of me. But you know what? That's just the perks of growing up. So, yeah, it's my birthday, so you can send me birthday wishes in the comment section below. But as always, and as every time I say, have a good day, and, well, did you think I was gonna say see you later right now? Well, actually, yeah, I mean, you're kinda right, because you should know that by now. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, or DeviantArt, or Google+. I have them in my, description below, and as always, and as every time I say, whoop. Get me to 400 subscribers as my birthday wish. And see you guys later. Bye.